If you're like me, where one of the parents is freelancing at home and the other parent doesn't work, in my situation, I'm the one that freelances at home, my wife doesn't work, how do you figure out which roles each person takes on, the husband and the wife? What roles do each of you take on to manage your life responsibilities, and how do those fit into the business responsibilities? I want to talk about this for a little bit. I want to explain to you what we do, and then I would love your insights on what you do or any thoughts on what you think would work. I've been freelancing for over 5 years now, and it has allowed me to share many more responsibilities with my wife regarding taking care of our kids. And the burden isn't just on her during the day, like it is with many mothers whose husbands work away from home 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and they get their help at night or on the weekends. And sometimes there's just a lot of catch up that happens during that time. But they don't get help during the normal grind of daily 9 to 5 life. So because I work about 25 hours per week, there is more weight shifted towards her with some house stuff and kids stuff, but it's much less than a traditional mom, much less than my own mom took on. And she's definitely very grateful for the time I'm able to give to help out with stuff. And it's a good trade. You know, a little bit more of the weight of it is on her because more of the weight of earning money is on me. Actually, all the weight of earning money is on me. But with only working around 25 hours a week, there's ample time for me to help out with the life stuff. So here's a typical day for our family so that you understand how we have divided the roles, because it can cause a lot of contention if you haven't discussed this with your spouse, if you haven't come together and really got on the same page regarding this. If you're just assuming that the other person knows what you expect for these roles, then that's just going to cause a lot of contention and a big mess and a lot of fights and anger. Just get together with your spouse, talk about this, hash it all out so that you are very clear on what your roles are, so there aren't any weird expectations being assumed. So because of the phase of life that we're in, which is the baby phase, my wife is more tired than I am. She's currently pregnant with our third. Our oldest is 5. Our second oldest son is 2. And so he's barely coming out of being a baby. And then now we have another baby on the way. So we've been in this baby phase for a few years now. And it definitely takes a toll physically on the mom for sure. And so me working at home has allowed her to be able to get more sleep than another mom would be able to get if she has to be up with her kids. She doesn't have to wake up with her kids at 7 o'clock. She can sleep in longer and make up for the lack of sleep that she's getting because of being in the baby phase. And when you do have a baby, and if you're like us and you nurse, then that can interrupt things during the night. If you don't nurse, you're still getting interrupted during the night because the baby has to eat. But then recently, with my wife being pregnant, and she's was experiencing pregnancy sickness, and it's not just morning sickness, it's like all day and night. So I have to accommodate that in how I work. And luckily, I've been able to take on various burdens that allows her to make up that sleep. So in the morning, I usually wake up at 5 a.m. I do some my own personal development stuff, and it's the time that I have without any other distractions. I do some business brainstorming. I get inspired, and I sometimes shoot videos like this early in the morning while everyone's asleep when there's a guarantee of no interruption. And then around 6 or so, I usually start my work day, but for about an hour and a half before the kids wake up, I'm doing more planning, creation type work. I'm not doing client work first thing in the morning because my brain is in a very inspired, creative mode first thing in the morning. Then around 7 to 7:30 when my kids wake up, I help them get breakfast, get dressed, and it's just me and my two boys until about 9 when my wife wakes up. And then around 9:30, I'm back to work, and until I take a lunch break around 12. And so during the later half of the morning, it's all up to her to take care of the kids. And then around 1 or so after my lunch break, I go back to work, and then I'm done around 3. And if I have a longer lunch break or I get a later start in the morning, then I'm done around 4. I just have to get around 6 hours a day of work, Monday through Thursday, to stay on track with things. My goal is to always get 25 hours a week of work, 6 hours per day, Monday through Thursday, an hour Friday morning just to wrap things up and do some planning for the next week. But then I basically get 3-day weekends every week, and I'm done by the early afternoon on those 4 days that I am working. And so that works for us, and it allows me to take on some of the burden with kid stuff. It won't be this way forever, like these schedules, what works for a family will change over time, right? Depending on the kids' ages. As our kids grow up, as we're out of the baby phase, these things will change, and Tira won't need to sleep in. And she won't have as much of a physical toll on her body and on her energy as she does during the baby phase. But for now, she does take the brunt of that physical stress that comes along with having kids. And so I'm glad to give herself more of that time so that she can stay healthy and less stressed, so that the family is healthier and less stressed. And so while I am working, during those couple hour blocks that I am working, she's responsible for the kids. And does that mean I never see them or talk to them? No. Like some of the times, one or both of my kids will come into the office and then they'll do their own thing, or they might ask me a question. And there is some level of interruption that I'm okay with. It just has to be brief. I don't allow it to drag on. I don't stop what I'm doing and then go play with my son for half an hour. I try to limit the interruptions. And then if I'm doing something important, like I'm on a meeting or a call, or I'm focused on something that's really difficult, then I can't allow any interruption. That I usually just have my door closed, which signals to them that I can't be interrupted right now. But then when I'm not having to be so intensely focused on something difficult, or I'm not in a meeting or so forth, then my door is open and they can walk in whenever if they need something. But again, it's still controlled, it's limited. There's still some boundaries there so that I can get the work done that I need to get done. But I'm okay to have a bit of, I realized going, at first I was very much like, no open door policy. Let me treat this as if I'm at an office. But I realized that when I have that open door policy, I actually have less interruptions. When I allow my kids into my space, into my world, my work world, they have a higher level of respect for me, and they allow me to work more. And they feel as if I'm not just pushing them away and rejecting them, because then that makes them feel contention and resentment towards my work. And then they hate my work because it causes me to push them away and close them out. But I don't want them to hate my work, because I want them to allow me to do it and to be okay with me working. But it's fairly reasonable. The chunks of time that I am working, it's never more than 2 hours at a time. It's not like I'm sitting here for 4 hours, not allowing any interruptions. I never have more than a 2-hour work block, so it works well. So my role is to bring in the income, 100%. My wife does not work. She does not have any responsibilities that she has to do for the business. She is my most trusted business coach, and I talk about a lot with her regarding the direction of the business, regarding how to manage things, especially when it comes to financial planning, because the business financial planning bleeds into our personal financial planning. Now, she doesn't do any actual work for my clients or run any of the operations of the business. She's 100% devoted right now to being a full-time mom. When the kids are older, she might take on and join me in some more roles related to the business. But right now she needs to be 100% focused on being a mom and figuring that out. It's very new for us. We're only a few years into it, being parents. And she doesn't want to have to work right now. And she's very grateful that I was able to figure out how to earn enough income, and even working less than full time and still earn enough income off one income. But it was very difficult at first when I wasn't earning enough money, and I got through it, and I proved to myself that it's possible, very possible, to support a family off one income and only working around 25 hours per week. Our oldest is barely starting school, and we homeschool. So that's another role that she takes on in leading our school. She's the principal and the main teacher, but I get to be one of the teachers because, again, I don't work all week, so I can still help out with some of that, but I don't lead in it. And she also takes on more of the weight when it comes to managing the house and keeping it organized and clean. And I still do a lot with that. I do everything I can regarding that, but she still takes on more of the actual time doing it because she has more of the actual time doing it. But only a little bit, right? Like taking care of kids is just as much, if not more work than what I'm doing to earn income. And so it's not like she has all this free time to do housework, right? So I'm still taking on a lot of that, but she's leading in it and taking on just a tad more, because there are a couple things that there are some things that she can get done while taking care of kids, or she gets the kids involved and helping to fold laundry or helping to clean up something. But that can only last for so long. She can't spend 2 hours straight doing housework when she's responsible for the kids, because then they want her attention. They want to do other things. So she won't get everything done that she wants to get done while I'm working, while she's taking care of kids. But she does do the laundry 100% because she won't even trust me with that. And she just has a really good system for it. I don't have the brain space for it. We would not have clothes to wear if it wasn't for her. That's something she's very good at, and she wants to do all of it. So again, we've discussed what we want to do, what we prefer doing, and what our strengths are, and so forth. And then we've decided on all of that. Like, she prefers to clean the dishes over putting them away. I prefer to put them away over cleaning them. I'd much rather put the dishes away in the morning rather than clean them at night. Yeah, sometimes if only one of us is available to do one of the things, then we do it, right? It's not like 100% of the time, all the time, we're the only one doing that job, except laundry. She's the only one doing that job, as far as cleaning it and putting it away and stuff. But I help with weekly chores like vacuuming and house projects, daily maintenance stuff, trash, etc. And there's a lot that I still help out with that. If you're a dad, don't be a jerk. Help out with as much as you can with taking care of kids and housework and all of that. Some dads like to bury themselves in their work and use it as an excuse not to help with other stuff, like, oh, I'm stressed, I'm tired, I'm working so hard to bring in money to this house, I shouldn't have to take care of kids, or I shouldn't have to clean up stuff. And that's mostly coming from previous generation kind of stuff. A lot more millennial dads are not like that. But yeah, don't be like that. Now, yeah, if you have a 9-to-5 stressful 40-hour a week job, it is more stressful to come home and then have to then take care of kids and do stuff like that. But that's why I'm encouraging you to start freelancing and figure that out, because honestly, personal life stuff is more stressful and exhausting to me than my work. Taking care of kids is more exhausting than the work I do to earn income. And that's how you want it, right? Personal life stuff is more demanding when you have a family. But there's a good balance overall. There's a good alternating balance of when I'm on a lunch break or I'm on another break during the day, or I'm done around 3 or so, then Tira takes advantage of those opportunities to really get more done, where she doesn't have kids to take care of at the same time. So then a lot of times during those hours, then it's her with the kids, and then it alternates, and then it's me with the kids, and then she gets work done while I'm with the kids. But that work is related more to the house. And then we make sure that we have plenty of time where we're all together and it's not just alternating all the time. Because sometimes a week goes by and we're like, oh man, we've barely spent any time together. We've just been alternating constantly, which just happens a lot more when you're in the baby phase too. And it's hard, but we're trying to build out more time where we are together as a family. Now, some other last roles. Financially, I do all the bills and accounting. Since I already do that for the business, I just do it with our personal finances once a month, once a week. Every Friday, I spend about 20 minutes doing all the accounting for the business, and then I move money over where it needs to be, make sure that I get paid, do our personal financing, accounting, and so forth. But she is 100% a part of the financial planning. That is really important. We discuss together our financial priorities and goals. I do the actual work to earn the money and manage the money, but we both decide how it's spent, how it's budgeted, and we both have goals for it that we have decided together. So that is extremely, extremely important that you get on the same page about that. Now, she takes on more of figuring out our health plan and what to eat, how to stay healthy, how to eat nutritious whole foods and learning about that, and then leading me in that. But we're still both very much involved in helping out where we can. So much of what we do is that one person leads in something and the other one is a partner in helping to execute on it. If you've noticed, as I've talked about it, it's always like, oh, well, she leads in this, but then I help out as well. And so it's not so much this dividing line of black and white of, she does 100% of something and then I do 100% of something else, except just a couple of things like her doing 100% of laundry, me doing 100% of earning money. Everything else is like she leads on it or I lead on it, and then she or I become a partner in helping with it. And mostly everything is shared. So that's the gist of it. That's how we do it. There's really no one right way to do it because every family has different needs. And our needs will change over time, and it changes sometimes on a monthly basis. Because children change very quickly and their needs change. So we're constantly having to come together and discuss what these roles are and alter them as needed. But that's where we're at now. And if you don't have this figured out and you're a freelancing parent, you are not a freelancing parent yet, but you want to be, don't wait to figure this out. Start talking to your spouse right now. If you're a dad like me, stop compartmentalizing the stresses in your home life. Don't use your work as a distraction from those stresses. Open up the conversation with your wife and get these things figured out. Get these roles figured out. Don't just assume the other person knows. It has to be discussed and agreed upon. And lean towards whoever has strengths in certain areas or interests in certain areas. Now, if you're currently an employee and you're used to working 40 plus hours a week and you're not sharing a lot of these responsibilities, it's going to be a shock when you do transition to freelancing and now you're helping out with a lot more. But the benefits far outweigh the stress that it might initially cause. So let's say you're a dad and you've been hardworking 40 plus hours a week, and then you're going to transition to freelancing. You'll be working less. You'll be helping out more. It might be hard at first for you to be okay to do some of those things, but the benefits of what it will bring to your family and the health and the lower stress and the more unified you and your family will be far outweigh the initial stresses of figuring it out. And also, as a dad, you really have to figure out what your priorities are. I know what it's like to be very passionate towards your career, but I had to learn that my primary passion right now is my wife and my kids, business second. And so I've had to put the brake a bit on some of my initial career ambitions that I simply cannot pursue while I have a young family. And so you have to figure out what's more important to you. Do you want more applause from strangers who are congratulating you on this huge career success? Or do you want more applause from your children because of you taking the time to be a part of their daily life, of their normal life, not just their vacation life or their weekend life or their going to bed life? Make them your top priority. And you don't have to sacrifice a good income to make them your top priority. That's why I'm here doing these videos, that you can spend a lot less time working, 20 to 25 hours a week, and you can still earn a really comfortable income, but put them first at the same time. Your kids will grow up in the blink of an eye. So don't miss it because you're distracted by shiny things in your job or your career. The praise of your wife and children, because you were there for them, is far more important and far more meaningful than whatever career shiny thing you can pursue right now. So learn to enjoy taking on more of the responsibilities of raising children and housework, and you will have a happier wife, and thus you will have a happier life. Happier wife equals happier life. And I promise you that you will feel more balanced as well, and work will not feel stressful. So you'll be okay because you won't be so stressed in your work. You will have the energy to take on these other personal responsibility things. And once you get that freelance business going, yes, it won't be easy at first and it will have some challenges, but once you get it going and flowing, it will be more enjoyable and fairly easy for you to achieve this. I still have momentary stresses and challenges at work, but it doesn't cause this weighty burden and drain that then sits with me all the rest of the day or into the evening or into tomorrow or whatever. I don't get burnt out. My kids wear me out way more than my work does. So with that said, I'll see you around. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and also check me out on rumble.com, where I am beginning to post videos as well. It's a growing video site, kind of like YouTube. There's now 31 million users. It's exploded over the last year. But what's great about Rumble is that they don't censor videos like YouTube does. Like the reasonable stuff gets censored that has like real imminent danger to people. But they don't censor ideas. They don't. They allow open debate of what you believe and what he believes. And it doesn't matter if it's true or not. They don't decide whether something is true information or false information. That's the trouble that YouTube has gotten into, is they are deciding what is misinformation or not misinformation. Regardless of whether the idea is, it doesn't matter whether it's harmful or not. They're getting into the business of what is true and what isn't true. You have to allow the best ideas to win, and you have to allow that open debate so that the best ideas can win, and that people can discuss and debate over things. So with that said, definitely go ahead and let me know if you have any comments or questions, and I'll see you next time.